What's going on, everyone? Scott Mackay here, Airbrush Down Dirty Tricks. Sorry, Airbrush Down Dirty Tricks. Got a little something I wanted to do today. Been wanting to do this for a while. Something we haven't done live before. Something I've been doing. You've probably seen some of my posts if you follow me on socials. I've been doing tabletop gaming miniatures, Warhammer, things like that. I've also done some videos for New Worlds, which is soon to come out. We did one recently for Createx Colors, doing the Beholder. And I wanted to do a quick one live while I was working on this one guy and show a few tricks and tips and just see how it goes. And if this is something you guys want to see more of, you can let me know down in the comments. And maybe we'll make this a bi-weekly thing or a weekly thing or like a once-a-month thing. So this will involve, obviously, tabletop miniature gaming pieces, painting, prepping, my methods. You know, I have been doing tabletop gaming minis for a long time. I have been doing model work for a long time and figures and like scale models and things like that. So obviously this is a much smaller scale, which is a big learning curve, but I'm having fun with it. Learning lots from so many other people on YouTube, some great channels I've been following for the past, I kind of got into this back in August. I mean, May, June, around then. And then, you know, been working on that ever since. So, before I talk too much, let's just get into what I'm doing. For those of you who don't know me, if you are coming to this from tabletop gaming sites and stuff, I'm an airbrush artist for 34 years. Specialize in automotive, custom airbrush art, stuff like that. Videos, how-tos, classes, things like that. On the tabletop siding, this is all new territory for me, so I hope you enjoy it. Let's see how it goes, and I'll just show you what I'm working on, where I'm at. And let's bring up my camera feed here. What we got going on. Go for a pic. Hello. How you doing? Thanks for popping in. I know it's a weird time for my normal followers. And most of you guys still work. I usually do my live feeds every Thursday night, which I paint a live panel of artwork and do a how-to and things like that. But this is totally new on the gaming side. And I'm just going to get this camera up here in a better position. And yeah, there we go. All right, let me show you what I'm working on. This is a Warhammer 40K figure called the Lictor, which look very similar to me, and I'm so new to this genre. This is very similar to like the Von Ryan Leapers, you know, and things like that. So really cool character, really gnarly looking. Loved the build. The process was great, and wish I could zoom in. I'm going to see if I can zoom in just a little more for you guys. And I just got to keep in frame. That's something new for me to deal with, is staying in frame. But this is what I got going on. So I've done some of the prep work. I have done like a bone colored base versus like the normal ones here. I did these guys. These are, you know, a bone base, and then I've done the other ones that have more of a pinkish tone, and then, but I'm all doing the purple carapace tops, kind of traditional high feet Leviathan. Robert, what's going on, man? One of my down and dirty tricksters, what's happening? So I've done some of the prep work on this, and I kind of want to just show you kind of from here out what I'm doing and just see how it goes live. And you get to see me do some brush work, and I will do some airbrush work. Most of you guys know me for airbrush, so I will talk about that first. And I'm going to be using New Worlds for this for brush paint. I'll mix in some Army Painter and Citadel as well, and to kind of explain why and what I use them for. So if you look at this guy here, you know, the tail end, and there's a lot of stuff in here. I airbrush a lot of that shading versus, you know, wet blending and things like that. So what I'm going to do first, before I get into the brush work of the New Worlds, I'm going to use actually the Caraborg Crimson shade. Okay, this is a really cool color. I'm going to put it in my Eclipse airbrush, which is similar to 0.35 airbrush. Paint runs super easy through it. No need to reduce really, but I may reduce it just so the paint is a little bit more transparent. I can build, but let's just see. If you guys get any questions, feel free. So I'm going straight into the cup here. Like I said, this is the Iwata Eclipse Takumi. This is the new version. This is standard 0.35 nozzle, like what we've been using forever for, kind of a workhorse feed. There's no need to go too much smaller than that. Really good atomization. And I'm just going to check that. Let's check it on my palette. It's really nice color. And what I'm going to do with this, I want to do the tail. I'm going to move this out of your way because I think it's it's a little difficult. And there's a couple ways you can do this. So if you hold these big citadels by hand, obviously you can get everything. If you want to go two-hand airbrushes, the cool thing about these old citadels, and I wish I could find more, is these unscrew and have the same set as a photo, like a camera mount. And when you can get something like this, one of these sandbag camera mounts, these are great for modeling, because I do this for modeling, because you can do that, and then you can position, any way you want your figure, and lock it in if you want to go two hands on an airbrush, or you want to stabilize it in brushwork, like you want to be able to hold your detail in brushwork like this. These are really great. And the other thing I did, if you want it even higher, I took this Citadel one and I added the same fitting right into the bottom. And I'm going to go switch up the cameras here. Whoops, that's camera 1. Hi. I'm going to go to the camera 2 so you can see a little bit better. So now if you want, I can go right in on this like that and screw that into the base. And now this is fully positionable however you want it. Easy peasy. You can tilt it around and lock it in place. It's a quick little tip for doing small model things, especially tabletop, because it has that. If it doesn't have that, you can, if it doesn't have the fitting, this one, I added the one down here, and you can just buy bags of those fittings from Amazon. I'll even post a link to it. They're short money, then just you drill a 1/4-inch hole and epoxy it in, and then you can mount it to any camera mount. Works great. And so let's say if I was doing this and I wanted to airbrush this tail, which is what I'm going to be doing here. Yeah, these are the old. Like I said, I wish I could find more of these older Citadel ones. I like the big chunky handle versus these small ones, but both were the same. I'm going to drill this one out and do the same mount so you can just pop these in. But yeah, this is just a camera sandbag, or for a GoPro. Super simple. I'm going to back this camera off just a hair. All right. So let's say for airbrushing the tail, I want to do just a nice subtle fade. And the key with airbrushing is not to try to get it your first hit. And I kind of blend in place. And I'm just doing a little bit of that crimson. And you can see that tail getting a little richer and darker. A little richer and darker. Same thing here. Let's see if you can see a little better on this side. And that's going to work really cool off the blend. That's going to blend off this tail. And I am going to thin this down a little bit with just a little water. And the other place I usually do the same color is near some of the joints. And usually right here in these joints, right between. Just a slight tint. Okay, I'm just hitting the joints with that crimson. And when I dry brush or go for brush effects, it'll just give another little contrast color to work off of. I am going to get a much smaller lens so I can zoom in on this stuff a lot better. If the tabletop kind of takes off, then I'll definitely invest a little more in a camera lens that can get the detail a little bit better. The other thing I want to do is I want to hit a little bit of the face right there. Like I said, I need to get a macro lens we can really zoom in on, but hopefully this is doing the trick for now. And we can do a top-down view. Let's see how that needs to focus, obviously. Yeah, so you can see that a little bit better. So just a little bit, like right here in the knees, I love like just doing a little bit of that crimson shading. And some of the joints. It's really subtle, but it just adds a little bit to the piece. You can see that nice, just little subtle transition. That's one thing that's nice about airbrushing. For the color, when I did these guys, these were originally done with Citadel. I used their I think it was Leviathan Purple with a mix of their technical kind of like wash reducer just to thin it down a little bit. And I've used some Army Painters. I've been experimenting with colors that I want to compare with the New Worlds. With the New Worlds, something I've been working with quite a bit lately. It's a new paint that's out, and it's worked really well. And I've done some videos with them, with Iwata, because it's distributed through Medea Iwata, which is a company I airbrush with quite often. And let's get out of this here. Okay, so that can go away if you don't need it, but it's a nice way to stand things up if you need it. So I did a little test. The nice thing about New Worlds is New Worlds have amazing 1 to 2 coat coverage depending on the color. A lot of colors like the whites and the opaque yellows and reds are really opaque, and they go down really nice, especially like this regular skin tones. And then most of the other colors are like a 2 coat, so you get that nice ability to cover fast, but it doesn't overly cover fast. And then you can add a wash medium if you want to thin it down. So what I found for this color, the impenetrable purple, I really like this best as far as it almost works like a contrast paint right out of the gate without anything. So I'm just going to put some here in my wet palette. And this I'm going to go straight, and if you notice straight, it actually works really good. Hello, Mr. Leahy. I'm doing it. I'm trying a little tabletop mini painting, which I know you could paint a mural on this thing, but for me it's a little bit small. And definitely going to need a better camera lens. But what I like about this paint, it covers really well, brushes amazing, airbrushes right out of the bottle. And brushes, which is what's really been nice about the New Worlds, is you can airbrush straight with it. And if you want to reduce, you can. If you want to thin it down for spraying, you can. But if you want to brush work it, it's super easy to brush work. Dries nice and even. But you still get that nice little paint migration to give you that like contrasting when you paint these 3-dimensionals. So the paint will kind of sit into those valleys and give you that nice, almost like pre-shaded effect. But yeah, I figured today would be the day, because I gotta clear the bench for painting in my Thursday live feed, and I want to get this one done, so I figured I was near enough done with it that I saved it for a live feed. And I wanted to see if I could pull off brush painting live, which would be a first for me. Yeah, it's a little bit of a snowy day. We didn't get much up here. We were supposed to get this big Mondo storm. That didn't happen. So I said, this is semi-transparent when it dries, this purple, and I could put a little wash medium in it if I want to make it a little bit more transparent. But I think I'll save that for after it dries. I want to use a darker purple with some wash medium to get all the deep cracks. And then I'll do some dry brushing. Big Mountain Customs, what's happening, man? Doing something a little different today. A little mini painting. So I recently got into this hobby. And I'm going to go upside down here and try to invert this for a sec. So I can get underneath these hooks. And the tail. I think that looks good. So see, now you can kind of see that nice airbrush transition I did with that crimson right there, and it really feeds nice. So it's just not so like flat. That works out really good. And so you can see how the back's drying. It's starting to fill in and staying darker inside. The cracks, so we dry brush, it's going to be really nice. And if I want, I'm going to put a little bit of the wash medium just off to the side here, and I kind of mix as I go. And you can kind of see the difference of what happens. So I'm going to go onto the back side. So if you look with the wash medium, this acts way more like a contrast paint. Makes it a lot thinner, and it's going to kind of flow into the cracks, almost like a So this is their wash medium, so it's basically giving it that wash. And now you'll kind of get that two-coat coverage for everything. What's the vise you're using? Yeah, you can probably use it for an RC. So these are basically for tabletop figures. It has different clips, and it's basically a magnetic, like a wedge. So for these large ones, you can put them in here like this. For this big one that I did before, I'm not sure if this fits or not. That one doesn't fit, but oh yeah, it does. Yeah, see? So that fits and holds them really tight. And the cool thing about these, as I was showing earlier, is they have the same fitting here as a regular photo mount, like a flash mount or a camera mount. And I also bought some extras and drilled them in to the base, so I can put the whole thing into a vise, like photo mount like this, one of these sandbag guys. So I can just, if I want both hands free, this can just go like that, and the figure can hold, which makes it really cool. It makes it really great for doing model work. And these are made mostly for tabletop gaming, like 28mm or smaller kind of wedge, things like that. These are smaller ones. And there's other ones you can get too. But Mr. Garcia, what's happening? Just doing something a little bit different. Figured like a half-an-hour feed. First time doing tabletop stuff live. And just kind of seeing how it goes. And if people like it, we can do more of it. If people don't, I won't. Okay, so with that wash medium, I'm going to come across here right to the front of it. And so this wash medium, by just putting a little bit of it in, it's less like a wash and more like a contrast paint. And it'll kind of flow into the cracks and build in there, and you'll get almost like a natural shading. Try to get in here. My big meat hooks. Like I said, I'm totally, new to this type, but definitely not new to painting. But the tabletop world, I would probably be considered a newbie, just because I've just started it this year. But the 30 some odd years of painting and modeling, doing like scale model stuff, definitely counts for something. So I can't claim I just started painting. I just started painting this type of work. If I get a little half an hour feed, would be good. That'll get this off my bench. And I gotta finish up a few things. And then this will get the bench obviously set up and ready for my Thursday night feed, which is the day after Valentine's Day. But I'll probably still do something Valentine's Day related. I might do something for my rose collection. But all my members, I am open to ideas. But I do have my rose vector collection I could work from. Oh, thanks, Chris. Yeah, with the where I did the shading with the airbrush and yep. I got another big video that's being edited. This should be out sometime. That I did with Iwata in New Worlds. It should be out soon. I did a really cool, heavily detailed character. 11 violet roses. That might be a tough call for a single feed, but hey, it's an idea. Let's see if you can go. Let's see if we can zoom in here. So can you see? I'm going to kind of get close here. So you can see how the paint is still wet, but see how it's filling in the crevices? So you'll get that dark and light purple. And that's going to create depth and dimension already, which when I go back and dry brush and hit some edges, you get that nice paint, those nice different tones with only one pass, because you're letting the paint kind of fill in. You know, as it's drying, you're starting to see, like, see right here? You get that nice light purple, and then you get the dark. So it's really cool. So I've got to try to get this camera mounted closer so I can paint down here and have you see it. We're going to turn the autofocus on. I'm not sure how autofocus is going to work. Well, need a little bit up in here. Like I said, Steve could probably paint little murals on their back. Which that'd be a cool video, Steve. There's these things called Titans. They're huge kind of robots, you know, like big kind of like industrial looking mech suits, kind of how would I describe it to you. But a lot of people, because they have big armor plates, a lot of people do freehand mural work like on the armor plates. Man, you could probably do some killer stuff in there. So yeah, I like just a little bit of the wash medium. You still maintain really good brushability. But you still get that nice kind of translucency that flows in the cracks and gives you multiple, you know, contrasting tones. It looks good. I just don't want to buy or sell the 100 figures. Oh, you don't have to do that. They have cool sets and things called like, what am I trying to say? There's some games that it's only a 5-figure squad. That's all you need. And those are called like kill teams and stuff. So those are great because you only need, like when you buy the kit, it's 10 models, it's 5 on each side. So if you play with a friend, a lot of guys split them. The Blood Bowl game is like that too, where you just get your players on each team. There's not as many. I just have so many because I got the big Leviathan set when it came out, on top of some other sets I already had, so that's why I have so many of them. But I'm starting to get that really cool tone. Like so, when this dries, and I go and dry brush it, and Like I said, I'll probably still take some, I'll do a dark wash and get all the dark crevices mixed in. Like I said, I'm the one that's got to wear glass for the small stuff. Steve doesn't even have to. Like, I wear a different set of cheaters when I'm doing these guys. Yeah, really like that color tone. It's just got a nice pop. And it dries nice and flat. Like I said, with a little highlighting and things like that, it's going to look great. I'm going to try to get in here. I think I almost need a smaller brush for here. Getting there. My voice is sounding better? Yeah, good. Goes through phases. You know, half the time I'm doing my nighttime feed. Observing and working and painting and sanding and all day. Oh yeah, man. I do have some like super clips that you can zoom in for like the really big detail stuff. They make a lot of that for this industry. A lot of guys, that's how they paint by. So it's definitely needed. This is considered one of the, you know, this isn't a large model, but this is one of the larger sizes. Because this is like a standard guy, and he's like a mid-size. And then you get bigger. And then they go bigger from there. But I was almost going to do this guy red instead of the purple here, because there are different like color variants of these characters. I was going to do the red variant. But I haven't. There's something about having the whole army with the same continuity that's just cool looking too on the table. The amount of pieces he's come in is also amazing. There's probably like 30, 40 pieces to put together. And they go together amazingly. And with like the transparency, if you find it's pulling too much, it stays wet long enough where you can basically take the excess off if you want a little bit more of that crack. That's cool. This guy's getting pretty close to done. So when I started, I used this crimson color. I gotta stay away from where the paint's still wet, but I did a little bit of crimson just in the joints. A little bit of that tail. I'm gonna go in right in the crack here. Like I said, I can come back and do some dry brushing later. Just get inside there. And then when done is, I usually put a like a flat finish over the top, so everything's nice and flat. I think they're taking a little bit of that color too. There we go. And while that's drying, I'm going to clean this up. Okay, this should be a quick video today. I think we're at like 30 minutes or so. Got 32 minutes. Definitely want to keep these pretty short, under an hour, and see what I get out of them, see if people like them and want to see some more. And then just clean up this brush. And I'm going to clean this bench off. I got to finish up one of my panels. And go from there. Oh, and I think I got to re-record my realistic fire video. I have the YouTube video, but my multicam recording didn't record. I did something wrong. So I don't have all the footage I want. So I may have to reshoot that. So maybe I'll reshoot that for members only. Have those cheaper loops of the lens. Oh yeah, I got that. I got those clip-ons. Those work really well. Then I got the over-the-head ones. You know, I got the over-the-head ones where they kind of come down like this and drop in front of your face. I have those as well. Those little clip-on ones work really good though. They really do work nice. I made a skull one just for you. What do you mean a skull one just for me? Oh yeah, with the LED lights. Yep, I got that too. Alright, so good. I like that. That's drying out pretty well. Alright, so I did that. I don't think I need a darker inside. What we're going to do, a little bit of highlighting. So I'm going to take their white. That's a light gray. And I want to do a little dry brush mixture. And this is kind of what I do for dry brush. I use a post-it note a lot of the times. And I'll take that color. A little white and purple together. Kind of start there. And then wick it all off. So we're just going to dry brush. And I'm going to go with the scales here, like the direction, and just pick up the edges. Now we'll catch them highlights, and then what I'll do is I'll go back with a brush with a lighter color, and I'll like really edge highlight everything. But you can tell it just takes that sheen off this. And then it adds all that high spot color. I'm going to come right up here like this. You see how they're stepped? I'm going to come this way. I'm going to drag very lightly, just so it tints those tips purple, and the high edge gets a lighter color purple on it. Super simple, super effective. Okay, now for the head, I'm going to come down this way like this. And just really try to catch those edges. Very dry up in here. Just trying to catch the edge of everything. Like I said, I'll come back in with a brush and hit the very leading edge. Let's see how that just does that nice little fade. Now I'm going to come up from the back. We get a little bigger in here, and I can definitely come in here with some extra brush work, which I'm going to do. Maybe put a little speckling and spotting, but I'll definitely do some line work. I think it's good. I'm going to get a really tiny boy here. Let's see. Find some fairly small. There we go, one of these guys. I'm going to take that same color. And now I'm just going to just edge highlight a few of these things a little bit lighter purple. I'm just hitting the leading edge. The brushing's a little stiffer, but this would be good for some specs. Yeah, scale modeling's a blast. So we're going to do just a couple little just some line work on the, it's called the carapace, but it's just like the back shell basically. Just extra fun. Yeah, scale modeling's blast. I've been having a blast with my the Death Star attack trench run. That's fun. I'll definitely do a video on that at some point. Oops. Brush working isn't in my wheelhouse as much, so still kind of new to it. Still kind of getting my bearings on that, because I don't brush work a lot, because everything is airbrushed. You see that little highlight ridge looks good. Just hitting those edges. But these little highlights really help sell that dimension when it's on the table. Yeah, a little bit more purple. And then I'll get some dark purple and I'll get inside and I'll probably fill up. You know what, I think I'm going to do that too. I'm going to take a little black. And I want to just get up inside here a little bit. Just push that depth. A little darker purple. Yeah. Then I'm just gonna wash back over some of the bright white and just transition it down. And go from there. And I really want to see if I like this color better, or if I like the Citadel's purple better, but they both look great. They both give a very similar effect and tone. So either way you go is a win. What I do like with the New Worlds is it's really good coverage. It's more I don't want to say it's more versatile, but I think it is to a degree where so I can go brush, I can go airbrush without any reduction. I can make it a wash, or like a shading paint, pretty easy with just different volumes of their wash medium. And that's it. I think that's where we're going to leave it for this first tabletop time. Or if I can consistently do it, I'll just keep it on Tuesdays and do tabletop Tuesdays. I'll find some different times and see what works better for people, or if no one's really interested in this, I won't do anymore. But I think it'd be fun to show a few tricks and just do it and see how he looks compared to the others. I said most of the heavy work's already been done, and I just want to get that back, which is usually the last thing I do. And now you can see the different kind of size ranges and the different purple tones I've done with it. Oh, the holder. This holder is not too weighted. No, it's a little weighted, but you can actually weight it down. But it's heavy enough where it sits nice and straight. And then see what I did is I put a holder mount in it so I can put it to a camera bag holder. So, yeah. So, that's what they show. I went a little bit bonier color versus the white. Purple's got a little bit more pop, but I like that pop a little bit more. And that's where we ended up. And like I said, I'll go through, do a couple little light brush effects, a couple little details. And I will show you guys the final image on social. Thanks for popping in. Thanks for checking it out, especially all my down and dirty tricksters. Thank you. I'll give you a nice little quickie shout out. Thank you guys. Thank you for the support. Much appreciated. And I will see you guys this Thursday night at 8 p.m. We'll do maybe a little Valentine's Day, or maybe an anti-Valentine's because it's the day after. We'll figure something out. So see you Thursday night, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Airbrush Down Dirty Tricks. Share, subscribe, do all the stuff. Click, click, click. Much appreciated. Have a good afternoon. See ya.